Hello everybody, Steffi here from The Makers. Welcome to our 1st of March 2022 subscription box unwrapping, unboxing, unveiling, however you want to say it. And it's very excited that we're already in the 1st of March. I have no idea how we got here. It felt like yesterday when it was 2021, but here we are. So today I will be showing you what's in the Maker's box, which is, oh, I haven't even got the sample out. I'm going to reach for that in a minute. And there is the fairy box here, the Lily of the Valley, and of course the Maker's box is the hippopotamus with a fully posable jaw, which is one of the things I will show you today, how to make the head with a posable jaw. And then we have got our surprise box, which is themed this month's Storm in a Teacup. Well, it's almost a bit late, but I'm reliably told there might be more storms coming. So yeah, that's basically all. I'm going to say quick hello to people who are here. So we've got Alicia supporting the stream today. Before I forget, then in the future, our unboxing and unveiling, unwrapping, whatever you want to call it, is going to be at 1 o'clock in the future on Tuesdays. And that also reminds me, just a heads up, on the 27th of March, the clocks will change so that we're back in the British summertime. So if you're watching from abroad, make sure that you are on the right time zone with us. So it will be BST, British Summertime, from the 27th of March. I say it a few times as well, so that we won't be any more GMT, but then BST from the 27th of March. That in particular, I think, will affect the 29th live stream, which is a Tuesday, and going forward from there. Right, Diane is there. Diane is watching from sunny Spain today. Not that I'm envious in the slightest. Karen is there. Oh yes, happy St. David's Day. I did actually post, shared one of our live stream tutorials of how to make a daffodil onto our main page, and oh my goodness, it made me chuckle when I saw the beginning of it, because we were so new to live streaming, and I think it's like, this is take 3 of a disastrous take 1 and 2. So if you just want to have a bit of a giggle, then watch it. But if you want to make a daffodil or a chick, then this is the one for you. We've got Awkward Prawn there. We have got Ashley there, Catherine, and Jane, who's looking forward to her box arriving. Alison, Angela, Trisha is there. Rachel is there. Oh, with Daniel. Hi, Daniel. I hear you've abandoned us, but I don't mind. You can come back anytime. Dip in and out. Laura is there. Melanie. Lorna. I nearly said that. I've said that already, but it was Laura. This is Lorna. Denise. Donna. And, oh, I don't know how to pronounce this. Okay. I want to say Luri or Iuri. Not sure. Rosemary is there as well. And Olga is there, just popped up as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reach over to grab the, there we go. That's the hippo. That's the hippo for the Maker's Box this month. And this is what I'm going to show you in a minute, what's in the box, and then I'm going to show you how to make his posable jaw. So it is fully posable. You can open it up. Don't know what noise they make, or you can close it down to make him look a bit more friendly. Maybe we should start with the Maker's Box today to have a look inside. Right, here we go. Going to the overhead camera now. There we are. So, Maker's Box. Notice something? Got a new label. Yes, we are. We are transitioning still into new designs of labels. Everything is changing slowly but surely. So there we have our hippopotamus newsletter for this month. The river horse. Did you know that the name hippopotamus literally translates into river horse in Latin? The pink tint you see on their skin is a natural sunscreen that they discreet to help protect themselves from sun damage. So I thought that was such an useful information. We hope you enjoy this make. We've even given it a posable jaw. The technique of making the jaw can also be used for other animals too, for example, a dragon. This month we've added in a glue pen and 2 coarse basic felting needles. That's what you're getting extra. And then next month we have a standing fox waiting for you. And in May, I want to say unicorn, but that's not actually true. We're doing the little owl. It's just not been updated on here. So forget that for now. But that's it. And then remember, if you are a subscriber, you are entitled to our sub club discounts, and they are the selected items, and this goes for all of the boxes, not just the maker's box, that's the fairy box, and also the surprise box. And this month it includes the Dutch textile tops, the wreath base, water soluble paper, no-sew brooch pins, and our new sheep swatches, and I will show you them later. Right, this is our newsletter that everybody gets, our general newsletter. So on our free tutorial this month is how to make a anemone flower on water-soluble paper. So you can get this here on the print newsletter, but it's also a free tutorial on our website. And let's see here. We have got this full set of instructions from beginning to end, all the way, with templates on the last page. There you go. And they will be really useful for you when you are making the wire armatures for the jaw in particular. Then you have got a bag full of wool in here. Certainly let's have a look. This is our New Zealand Merino flesh pink, as we call it. Then you have got the country sheep butts here, which is a beautiful, it's a perfect color for hippopotamus actually. It is a grey brown, great butt to needle felt with. You get absolutely loads in there. And also our basic core wool, which you will need as the core basically. That's exactly what it says. That's what you're doing. And then you're getting this month one of our glue stick pens. You do need quite a lot of glue for this project, so that's why we're giving you one of those. And also I always go on about them, and so if you've not used them before, at least you can go on about them afterwards as well. You get a long length of aluminium wire. You do need pliers for this project, so have them at the ready to cut your lengths according to the instructions. You get glue and eyes, which are of amber color, and extra this month you are getting 2 coarse felting needles, and I will tell you exactly why you're getting 2 coarse felting needles, and that is because the make that you're making is quite solidly felted. There's not that much squeeze in it, and it is a complete needle killer, this project. So the coarse needles are not because you're going to break lots of needles. The coarse needles are actually much more less breakable, so you will be able to occasionally stub into the wire without demolishing your needle instantly. And so we thought, let's give you our basic coarse needle felting needles, which by the way we put in all of our kits, the basic needles, but we've just included in our selection now for you to buy online, because they are definitely the kind of needles where you know, oh, I might be breaking a lot of needles in this project. Get those, break those needles, don't break the nice needles, plus they also break less easily. Right, that is basically what's in here. Big wad of wool. It's quite a solidly felted project, so we are putting a lot of wool in there. And I have got everything at the ready in a minute to show you how to make the head and the jaw. I'm putting this back in. If I hand this back to the workshop, they're going to have a nervous breakdown because it's never packed up as nicely as they do it, but I'm sure they will put it nicely back together again. So that is basically the maker's box for this month. Hippopotamus, all ready for you to make. Let's have a look at the surprise box. So the surprise box I can't show you overhead because it's meant to be a surprise. However, we do have a Facebook group, which is the makers spoiler surprise box group, so you can join that. There are 2 groups currently. One needs to be taken down. Something went wrong with it and I had to set up a new one. So please look out for our new logo, and then you're in the right group, and join that one. If you have tried to join the other one, one of the problems is I can't let any members in. Nobody can let any members in from the makers. So this is why I had to set up a new one. So we're not trying to ignore you. We literally don't know what is actually the matter with it. I have to look into it, and I haven't. Oh no, you only saw the newsletter. That's fine. I thought I gave something away. Anyway, this box is called Storm in a Teacup. So let's have a look what I can see and you can't. Okay, always tissue paper in our boxes. And then we have a card that looks a little bit like that, but you can't see what's on my side. What you can see on your side is it tells you how to manage your subscription box, and maybe I should tell you that right now. If you subscribe, you can unsubscribe anytime. We don't tie you into a contract that you can't get out of. When you subscribe, that is usually the date that the subscription repeats the following month. So if you subscribe on the 1st of month, then it comes at the beginning of the following month as well, and that's when the money gets taken out. All of our subscription boxes are now available to buy as a one-off product. So you save money if you subscribe, but you can actually buy it as a one-off box without entering into a subscription. So feel free to do that. And you can, if you are in a subscription, you can also skip boxes. So if there's a theme that's coming up and you think, nah, don't fancy that, then you can skip the box. You can change the payment date. You can change your personal details in there. If you get a new card, you can add the new card details in there. If you move house, you can do the same. However, if you get stuck, get in touch with us. We're there to help. Okay, what's in this box? I am actually really loving this box. But then I love every box, but this one I do love. I just so wish I could show you this box. I really do. How can I best describe this? It is very, very, very varied. It has got definitely the making of a Storm in a Teacup in there. Most definitely, very, very much indeed. But you don't need to use it for that, of course. Beautiful wool, colourful wool, different texture wool, essential wool, spring feel wool, all of that. It's all there. And it's we have a brand new wool mix in there, which reminds me of another wool mix we do, but this one is super soft and is called something else. So we are, yeah, that's it. Right, I can't say any more because I give too much away otherwise. So I'm going to close the lid here again and leave you to wonder. However, as I say, I will try and put a photo, if not a video, onto the spoiler group today, so that you can actually see what is in the box if you wish to see it. If that's what you need to decide whether you are having this box or not, I'd much rather you know what's inside. Okay, now that leaves me to look at our fairy box, and for this one I will go overhead and show you the contents, of course. Now these boxes are getting fuller and fuller, but one of the things that's nice about these boxes is it is our 2nd anniversary. Our fairy boxes are now 2 years old. We have done 24 fairies over the last 2 years. How on earth did that happen? And so for the occasion, we are wishing ourselves happy 2-year anniversary fairy box. This month we have added in an extra felting needle and the addition of the baby fairy as a little gift from us to you. Now, if you haven't seen the baby yet, then he is here. He's super cute. He's definitely solidly felted, which is why we have given you extra needles, because you are going to need them. And today, later, I will show you how to make his hat. As we have now started doing it, we are doing a fairy make along every month, and so the Lily of the Fairy will be featured on the 15th of March here live on YouTube 2022, and then again on the 17th of March over on Facebook. Now, what's special about this fairy is she's wearing boots, because I don't know, never did boots. Fancied doing boots on her. So she's got these boots on, and she's got this beautiful string of Lily of the Valley flower heads there. She's got really delicate wings. They are a mix between the green and some bamboo fiber, and they look very, very special indeed. They're a bit disheveled at the moment because she's been in a box, and the hair is the alpaca tops that we stock, and then she's got the shimmer green for a dress, as has the baby. It's got the shimmer green as well. But there are other wools inside the fairy box, and let's have a look what they are. Right, there's our little newsletter for the Lily of the Fairy. A Lily of the Fairy for spring. Now that spring is almost here, the Lily of the Valley Fairy is a great way to welcome the warmer weather. The flower itself symbolizes happiness, and we think it is a perfect start to the new season. And as I said, to celebrate Mother's Day at the end of the month, we have decided to add an adorable baby to accompany the fairy. So you can, maybe you have ideas for this project, or maybe you don't. Next month's fairy is the butterfly fairy, and it is actually based on the purple emperor. So a purple fairy, we haven't had one for a while, and I think that's going to be a popular one as well. Fairy instructions, as always, step by step. These are big this time. They're big because there literally is 2 sets of instructions in there. One set is the fairy, all the way there, and then almost the same again for the baby at the very end. So it is a long set of instructions for you to make both baby and the fairy. Now, if you want to make that fairy look a little bit older, so it is a mother and child, she looks a bit more like a teenage mum here, so maybe you want to make an older looking fairy, that can be done by just rearranging her hair. And this is what you get in your fairy box. So you have, this time you have got one fine needle, which you get all the time, and you've also got one medium needle for your project. So there's a little bit more felting in this particular box. You get your little eco wool mat. This has been quite a novelty, or not a novelty. It's not a novelty to us, but it's quite a unique thing that we, as one of the few needle felters, do, where we put a natural felting mat in there, and therefore our kits contain hardly any plastic, if at all. So we have got our Australian Merino flesh pink, the softer version. So in the maker's box it's the New Zealand Merino, and this is the Australian Merino, a lot softer, makes a smoother finish. Got a lot of the sparkly green in there. I don't know if you can actually see that in the light. It does. It looks as if it's slightly in the dew, in the summer morning dew. This one is our dark green variegated. It's a new wool that we've incorporated into our products. And then you've got that soft alpaca fiber for the hair. You have got the Cape Merino for the baby. And then you have got a little bit of this fairy mix. You hardly use any of it because it's literally just for the mouths for the baby and the fairy. And that is in there as well. And then you have got some rummy, and I did actually say it wrong. You don't use bamboo fiber for the wings. You use the rummy and you mix it with this green. But all will be revealed when I'm actually doing the fairy on later on. You get it's hard to, I don't want to open it, but you get 5 of these flowers here with a little seed beads to stop them from slipping. I will show you how to do that as well. And you get the thread to string them up as well. There are different ways of displaying them. They can be hanging down like this. They can be held by the fairy, or you can just make them almost like a waist belt all the way around the waist of the fairy as well. And that is all you're getting in your fairy box. Oh, put the instructions back in there. Actually, I'll leave them out for a minute so I can remind myself of how I did the hat. Put this back together. I'm never going to get this back together. It's probably going to pop open. So if you hear a pop, it's the fairy box that's popped, not me. So that is possible too. Right, let's have a little check-in what everybody's talking about on here. Trisha says, I wish I could still get the Love in a Mist fairies. Oh, Love in a Mist fairies. I'm actually trying to remember what they look like, because we should have all the fairies as a PDF, a downloadable PDF. We're sometimes a little bit behind putting them up, but I'm sure that we can arrange something. Trish, let me have a think about it. So love the hippo, can't wait, says Lorna. So I'm reading backwards again, which is never good. Okay, hippo, everybody seems to like the hippos, that's good. Olga likes to love the baby fairy. Donna says, great boxes, I have to go to work, we'll watch later. Well, off you go, see you later. But in the future, hopefully nobody will have to go to work, because you can plan your lunch break around the 1 hour mark, which is when we can watch, when you can watch it and we can be together live. Okay, right, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do the jaw for the hippo. So just bear with me. I'm going straight to the overhead view. Okay, here we go. Hippo jaws on their way. We need the pink wool. We need the core wool. I'm not saying you need these quantities. I'm just putting them out there. And I have already pre-cut 4 wire lengths for the head. The only other 4 wire lengths that you will need are for the legs, and there will be enough wire to cut all of these lengths and a little bit spare. So what you could do is you could cut all the wires already, and then I don't know, and then maybe just make sure that you've got the right length. You have got a few centimeters spare, but don't be too generous with it all around. So what you're going to do first is, and I've got to take the instructions out of the hippo box again, because I've actually put them back in. You are going to, first of all, take the 30 centimeter wire length that you have cut. And you, as I said before, you will need your pliers, which I've got at the ready here. You're going to have to turn this into a loop. So, and then these 2 wire ends, they need to overlap by about 3 centimeters. So remember that if you're struggling to work out what 3 centimeters are, you have got your tape measure here on the left hand side of our instructions. So 3 centimeters is about that. And now the thing is, this is where you need your pliers. You can sort of start twisting this around, but it's going to be hard doing this with your fingers. So do use your pliers and twist the wire around itself, just so that it stays in place. If you have 2 pairs of pliers, better still. And because you're working with a very soft aluminium wire, you can almost sort of squish it in on itself, in like squish it into place. So it's a very easy wire to manipulate. And then bend this back into a loop. So you now have a loop that's about 10 centimeter in diameter. And now hold this bit down here, and now bend it so that you've got the join down here at the bottom. Make sure it doesn't come undone. It doesn't matter if it sort of feels a little bit loose, as long as it doesn't pop open. And now you've got to bend the whole shape into, imagine it to be a dog bone. So make sure that the top and the bottom are straightish. If the wire at the bottom pops out, just tie it back together again, make it back, go back into that shape again. If you have anything to tape over it, you can do that, of course. If you want to put a bit of sellotape over it, do that, because all of this wire will completely disappear inside your hippo's jaw. And the templates on the back, you will use the first template here to just make sure that this is roughly that shape. So it will give you a good idea where you need to bend the wire in a little bit more or out a bit more, or whichever way. But you're working on the basis of roughly a dog bone shape. So if it's not exactly that shape, that's fine too. Just make sure that you've got sort of a rough shape here. I'm just gonna fasten this a bit better. I've actually almost not used enough to go around, so again, just double check that you've got the right shape there, the right size overlapping it. And that's it. So that's my rough shape of the dog bone. And now what you're going to do is look at the instructions, start at the beginning, because you're going to bend this now into an open jaw, and this part here, that part that fuses the wire together, will always stay in that shape, but the bits here become the jaw. So I've bent it now. Take this away. I have bent it now so that here is the join, and I've bent it in the middle, so this will become the jaw. Okay, so that is the very first thing that you're going to do with these hinges here. If you need to make them the same, just bend them in a little bit so that they are roughly the same. It doesn't have to be completely precise at this moment. So the next thing you're going to do is you are going to cut another length, which is 14 centimeters, and I've done that already, a 14 centimeter length, and you make open loops by just bending the ends in. So you've got like a little hook on each side here. So these are my loops that I've bent in just with a pipe, with a wire cutters. And now I'm going to bend these into a round U shape. So now they're bent like that with the loops like this, and they're going to hook into the jaw where the jaw comes together here. And now you've got to close them up so that they are nice, they're really shut. They need to be nicely shut all together, so do pinch them tight, and then do the same on the other side. Pinch it really tight. You can almost bend the wire flat because it's so soft and so pliable. So you still don't quite know what the top and the bottom of the jaw is, but these are now solid. So it's not even, I can't even move it at the moment. I mean, I can move these because I bent the wire, but this is like solid in there at the moment. So from here, you're going to start wrapping this larger loop here, not the one that you attached just then, but you're wrapping this part with pink wool. And this is the first step where you might need your glue. So to make the wool stick, add glue onto your wool, onto your wire, and make this a really tight wrap. So you might get a little bit of glue on your fingers and even on the wool that is sort of sticking out. I've started actually where the join of the wire is, and just keep going round. You're not needle felting this, you're literally making a dense cover with the use of a glue bottle. So this is how the wool will stay on the wire, is just by using a bit of glue to make it stick. And you're going to do this all the way round. So take small strands of the pink wool. It only needs to be a thin cover. You just want there to be wool on that part of the jaw. Go in and out. This is why you need a short strand of wool, because you have to go in and out of this hole here. Add it over the top. The glue really will make sure that the wool doesn't come off. So if it starts to come off, then just add a bit more glue. And go in and out of your upper or bottom jaw wire here, whichever that is at the moment, I don't know. And wrap this around, add a bit more glue. It will completely not be there later on, so don't worry. Gluing wool on isn't something that we normally do, but on this occasion we do. There we go. And then you're going to do the same on the other half. Now you've got to make sure that you're not putting it on the half that you've just added. It is literally on that same wire, but on the top half now, or bottom half, whichever one you decide will be the top or the bottom jaw. I have made I've made 2 complete hippos, so I do know it completely is absolutely it works. It definitely works. It wasn't just a lucky one-off. It does work. Wrap this around your wire. Make sure that the glue sort of seeps through the wool so that it sticks to it, and then go along around the other part. So you can do this sort of in maybe 3 or 4, 3 or 2 steps, if you like. I think the restriction is probably the length of your wool strand to get it through the hole, so that it's still manageable and doesn't become a problem doing this. I should also just mention, with your maker's box, if you're a first-time subscriber, you get a full tool kit to go, in the box, and thereafter you use your own tools, or to use the kit of that you got in your first box. So we don't put tools into the maker's box as a standard. It just so happens that on this occasion you are getting extra needles, but don't, if this is your first box and you're getting a whole toolkit in it, then don't expect that on every box. This is only on your first box. However, you are getting needles in this box as an extra for this particular box only. Right, so now I've covered the top and the bottom wire. This is the wire I've attached with the loops that are pinched shut. And so the next step, what you're doing is you're now going to take more generous bits of wool, and you are now wrapping this if you need to adjust the shape of this at any time, you can. Remember, what we try to do is have this almost like a dog bone shape, so this will still have to be that shape, so just push it back into the shape again. At this point you're going to decide what's the top and the bottom jaw, or start deciding it anyway, and you can of course open this up more to get around, because you're now wrapping the whole thing. You're covering the whole thing with wider strands of the pink wool, like this. And now you're going to have to felt these down with your coarse felting needle. So you will have to have this fairly open, because you're going to have to stab into the jaw bit here and stab the wool down. I don't even know if that is a coarse needle. I don't think it is. Let's try this one. Yeah, now we're talking. That's better. So now you're stabbing this wool and felting it. And this is where the danger starts. You have to edge your way close to the wire, but don't stab into the wire, because you do want to bridge that whole gap. And I promise you, using our basic coarse needle, don't be tempted to use your special, I don't know, coarse twisted needle or anything like that. These coarse needles, they're definitely a lot sturdier than any of the others. So even me hitting that wire a couple of times now, it's not breaking my needle. I'm being careful still. I'm not going crazy on this, but I am noticing that the needle definitely is a little bit less fragile than any of the needles that we usually recommend you buy from us. Right, there. And then you do the same on the other one. So you're going around the bottom or the top jaw, whichever one you've decided it might be now, or maybe you haven't. And cover more. So the you will not use all of your pink wool, but you won't. This is where you use the majority of the pink wool, because the only other time you need to use the pink wool is sort of for the surface details, or if you're yeah, basically when you give your hippo pink patches and you needed tiny bits with the eyes or maybe you just need to cover up a bit of the jaw in pink again, depending how it's going with the other wools that you're adding. So this is where you use the majority of your pink wool, but you do need to keep some back for the very end, or yeah, for the finishing details. So try and felt this close to the wire without breaking the needle. That's the challenge here. And you will probably work this a little bit longer than I am right now, so that you've got a nice neat edge where you've initially wrapped the pink wool around the wire. And you felt this down. And if you've got the wire still showing like I have here, just take a little bit of the wool and lay it over that area like that and felt it down, so that you cover the wire up all around from on the sides and also on the front. And you can tuck the wool sort of almost around the wire and felt it down and make it nice and taut. Remember, you have glued this, so the layer underneath will be absolutely there, and the stuff that you stuff, and I have no glue on my needle. It's all been absorbed into the wool, so it's safe to stub into there without getting a sticky needle. So now you've got a contraption that looks like this. Okay, that's the beginning of your jaw. I will just say, some of you might say, oh, but hippopotamus, they have got almost the jaw bent like that, and they do, and we will do that later, where they've got almost like sort of I want to call it, it's like a seat here, and that can happen later. You don't need to worry about this at the moment. At the moment, it's just like a flap open and close. And you're going to put this to one side, and then you're going to make, you take a good pinch of your core wool, and I'm sort of assuming this is about 5 grams. It might be a little bit more, a little bit less. I'm not weighing this now, but you can weigh this. And in any case, it's actually quite a lot. It needs to fit on the palm of your hand so that it covers it up more or less. And then you're going to roll this in so that you've got it's going to be about 10 centimeters long and about 4.5 centimeters wide. Roll this into a shape, and then you're going to needle felt this closed. This is going to become a shape of its own that will remind you of a piece of hand soap. That's what we're aiming for. So it's quite flat and rounded all around, just felting the wool down as we speak. Now I will just give you a tip. If you want to speed things up on your work like this, then you can use 2 felting needles. I've actually got you can use 2 coarse felting needles side by side and speed your work up, and it will just make the wool felt together faster. When you get to the details where you're neatening up the edges, you might just work with 1 needle, felt that down. If you have got a 3 needle felting tool, do use that, because that will definitely speed your work up. And so I'm shaping that now into what will look a bit like a piece of soap, piece of hand soap. That it's the shape of and the size of a piece of soap. Obviously not one that's on the verge of running out, but sort of one that fits nicely into your hand. That's what you're aiming for, and you're making that nice and neat. If it's not too neat, it's not the end of the world either, because all of it will be completely covered up. I should also just say, these glues, by the way, they have a lid that needs to be put on exactly so that it has a slight different shaped bottom of the lid. It needs to fit onto the bottle's shape, otherwise the glue is not sealed properly. So make sure that you do that. Once you've got your hand soap shape piece of wool and size, obviously the right size as well, then you're going to lay this on top. Now you have to decide what is going to be the top and the bottom of your jaw that you've made, because this part is going to be the head of the hippo. So I'm still felting that down a bit more. don't think I've wound this very tightly, so I have to do a lot more felting. You don't want this to be too solidly felted, because there's a lot of sculpting that's going to happen at the end of that top part. So now you've got your jaw here. I've now decided this is my bottom jaw. If you've got one jaw slightly bigger than the other, then use that as the bottom jaw, and then you're putting this on top of your hippo's top jaw like this, so it fits literally flat onto the top there. And now you're going to use more of the pink wool, and you're laying that over this whole part here, and you're going to felt that down. Obviously it will not stay pink, and it's really important that you have that nice round part here. It's very distinct for the hippo, so do push the soap part, if you like, as far forward as you can to make it a nice round nose part here for the hippo, or I don't know what to call it, but you are felting this right round into the jaw again. So you're covering this whole, you're fastening this on basically, but don't worry about these sides being felted and covered with a pink. You're literally just felting this on so it stays in place, and you can really, really stab hard into the inside of the top jaw so that it stabs into the bar of soap at the top, but it's not a bar of soap, you know what I'm talking about. So what you're doing here is you're basically preparing that shape of the hippo here, but you're fastening that on without having to finish it off just yet. And this here will become that part. So when you close the jaw a little bit, you can see where we're going with this. It literally covers this up. Can you see? So this is important, that you've got this nice round bit here with that part already preparing for it. But fear not if it's too flat, because you have got absolutely lots and lots of the grey-brown wool to build bulk even later on, and this will stay quite big throughout the making of the rest of the hippo, because that is the last bit that you're finishing off. Now we'll just show you the last bit of the attaching of the wire, because it's quite important that you get that right. So you have two lengths that you need to cut still for the head to connect it to the body, and they're 20 centimeters long, and you're going to bend each end, only one end, into a loop again, like you did before, like an open loop, like this. And now each of these loops, they are going to connect to the bottom part of the jaw. Can you see? So I'm not going into the top, I'm going below that that ring at the back, and I have to do the same on the other side. But before I do that, you pinch one side shut as you did before. Just pinch it shut so it stays in place, and then you can do the other side by turning it round and pinch that shut as well. Just shut it so that these two wires are now attached. And now what you're going to do is you're going to twist these around each other, but you have to make sure that you start this about 3 centimeters away from where you shut them onto the jaw. So about here and about there. What you could do is you could just sort of bend it in slightly, then you know where you are starting to twist them. Remember, there's nothing lost, because you can always bend the wire back into shape. And all you're going to do now is you're twisting them around each other all the way to the end there. But you will need those 3 centimeters to be untwisted, because you don't want to twist that part of the jaw shut. So make sure that you've got a nice loop here. And that is basically the beginning of your hippo. It looks like nothing like what it's going to be. But from now on, you will be working, the next part will all be body, 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 because you're going to start wrapping this part here now with white, and covering up this part of the wire as well, so that I show you here on the pictures. I don't want to do any more of it now, but you will be wrapping that part of the wire. So this is where the twisted wires are in. So until you get sort of quite a weird looking contraption here, and then you start making the legs, which will go into the body at an angle, and this is where you will need the template again here on the back, because the legs have got the wire bent at an angle, which then gets sunk into the body. And basically, once you start adding the wool over the top, you end up with, from this, you will get to that, I promise. And that is all I'm going to show you, how to make a jaw for the hippo, which of course can be used for other things as well, where you might not just put this bit on top so thick, you might use it in a different way, but that is how you can make a jaw. Snap, snap, snap. That was the jaw that we've just covered. Okay, hope that was useful. I wanted to tell you some other things about what new exciting things that are happening. Hopefully you have seen a lot of our small kits appear on our website, which are ready for spring and summer. There's still a few in the making, including we will launch a narwhal kit. We will launch the hen with chicks that doubles up as an egg cozy as a kit soon. We will do a summer wreath, and many other projects that I've forgotten now. A swan will come that will fit into the collection with a peacock and the flamingo, and there will be a donkey kit coming, as well as all the kits that are already out. But what's also new are our woolly sheep swatches. I've been talking about this, and I know people have no idea what I'm actually talking about, but I will show you now what they are. We have got these felt sheep that we are dressing for you, and they are now well, they will be available by the end of this day. Hopefully all of them are listed, so that you can buy your sheep swatch with the color wool that you want. Now, why would you want to do this? Why would you want to do this? Well, first of all, you might want to do this because you might want to have each of the makers' wool as a swatch, so that you know for your future projects, which one is this? I'm going to use that for whatever. And they do come with a little label attached to them. I haven't got one here now with a label that tells you exactly what wool this is. There's going to be 2 grams of wool on each sheep as a minimum. 2 grams of wool is actually quite a lot, because if you take it off, this is 2 grams on this sheep, that is a lot of wool. You know, you can use that for something and still leave a bit on to not have it skinny, that sheep. These will come, these swatches will be available for any fibers that we sell, whether they are wool fibers, wool butts, wool tops, dyed, undyed, whether they are specialty fibers, luxury fibers. They will come as a swatch to you. The only thing that we're not going to do is Angelina fiber. That's not all the sparkly fiber. They're not going to come with that. But you will get them with Rami, you get them with our alpaca. So it doesn't just have to be sheep. Now, they will be available to buy under each of the fiber product page. So if you go into, say you want to get this one, this is our hair brown merino. You go onto the hair brown merino. Now that we've offered 20 gram portions, so they're not just 200, 100 and then 20 grams, there's now also the sheep at the bottom of the drop down menu as a variant. So you can literally go down there. We're currently selling them at £1.50. If you buy 10 of these in one order, in the same one order, you will get a metal ring, which I haven't got here, but it will look like this. You can make a sheep pen, basically. So you can put all your sheep together, the ring opens, you can take it out whenever you want to, and there's also a label on here, so you can see how they're all labeled up. So if you if you want to get your collection going, you can of course also string them up and have them just hanging all face down. We won't tell the RSPCA that you're hanging your sheep upside down. They look quite nice. They make also nice mobiles if you want to dress them up and have them as a practical thing in your workshop, but also as a pretty thing to look at. And of course I had to put mine in rainbow order, but you don't have to do that. If you don't do that, don't tell me about it. Worse still, don't show me a photo. And that's basically what these woolly sheep swatches are all about. So they are now for you to collect, to find out which fibers you might need for the future, or maybe you just want to have them as a collection. That does not take away our free service, which is Find a Fiber. You can still get in touch, find a fiber at themakers.co.uk, and we help you find a fiber free of charge, and we even send you a little find a fiber swatch card out with a wisp of wool on there. And if it's something like a project where I need to mix some wool, I will do that for you too. And at least if you but these are basically these are small portions of wool wrapped around a sheep that can double up as a swatch, can double up as a useful as a useful supply of wool as well, decorative as well as practical. And just get your sheep, start your collection. You don't have to buy them all in one go. Do it bit by bit, and then you get a whole load of sheep eventually, whether they are colorful, whether they're bats, whether they're tops, whatever. Just that's it. White sheep, brown sheep, black sheep, colorful sheep, whether they have the space dyed tops on it or the multi-tones on it or whatever. Let's start collecting sheep. Okay, right. Fairy. Let's have a quick go at making a baby hat for the fairy. I've got the wool here and I've got the instructions there. So I'm going to show you how to make the little hat, this one here, for our little bud baby, as I call it. It's a bud baby. It's our Lily of the Valley baby. I'm going to show you how to do that now. Okay, so this is quite a lot of needle felting is involved in this for the hat. First of all, you have your felting mat. Well, you will have your little felting mat, which I can actually use to just prove to you that it works. There we go. Oh, it's got some blue wool in it. That's not even my wool. That's from the recycled wool that goes in there. So you're going to take a small pinch of the green shimmer and lay it out onto your felting mat. So you have a shape of about 8 by 8 centimeters. And shape of 8 by 8 centimeters is probably, this is about 7.5 centimeters. So if you spill out on both sides a little bit, then that's perfect. And then you are going to felt a curved line at the bottom and 2 straight lines at the top, so that the straight line will be about 5 centimeters, and that's lucky because that's the width of the mat, and then 7 centimeters across. So it is a rough idea, but basically this is what it will look like. So you're going around the base, a round shape here, very close to the edge, so that you can make the best of the mat, and then you're going up in a straight line, so you're making a triangle with a rounded base, basically. That's it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to fold. There's actually a lot of wool there. You're going to fold the sides in, and as you have to lift your work off regularly anyway, you can move your work around the mat as well. So I'm folding both of these sides in first. So these are the 5 centimeter long sides. They do look a little bit longer at the moment, but I can adjust them by making the rounded edge a little bit closer to it. So now I've felted these sides, and now I've got to fold in the round shape here at the bottom. And you do want to keep that round because that's the base of the hat, which when you put it around a round head, it needs to be that sort of cylindric shape. Is that even a word? Cylinder shape. that's not even a cylinder shape. Anyway, a cone shape, that's what I'm trying to say. So keep that round, felt that down with your coarse felting needle, with your medium felting needle that you get in the kit. Sorry, I was still thinking about the hippo then. And make it into a shape. You can felt it from both sides. So get it into a nice piece of felt, if you like. And once you've done this, then you're going to fold it into half, and you fold it into half so that this rounded shape here at the bottom stays at the bottom. And now you're going to felt the sides, the 5 centimeter straight sides on top of each other, so that you're fusing them together. So you're basically making now a 3D shape because you're felting these sides together, and you're going to do that from both sides as well. Now you've got to make sure that these sides are nicely fused together. They can be sort of really, don't worry, because we're going to turn the whole hat inside out in a minute, so you don't need to flatten this seam at all. Just make sure that it is fused together by going over it from both sides. And now what we're going to do is it shortens the hat, but it also stops having this thick thing here, thick seam. Now you're going to turn the whole hat inside out. However you're going to do that, I'm going to use my little finger here. So you're going to squish that top, push it the other way around. So now you've got a seam here. The hat is not going to be very pointy, so don't worry if you lose that point, and also you can needle felt it a bit more again. Just pull out as much as you can. So I've shortened this hat now, and it looks more like a, yeah, it just doesn't look like that anymore. And what you're doing now is, and this is what I'm not going to show you right now, because I don't have a ready baby to put the hat on. I did make a hat, but in any case, you are going to, from now on, you're going to felt the hat onto the head, and you're shaping it and you're shrinking it that way. But this is how you make the hat for our little butt baby. There you go. That's it. Easy, easy peasy. And that pretty much brings us to the end of this particular unwrapping of boxes, of our March boxes 2022. Remember, you can watch this again on Thursday night. Normally we do this around the 1st of each month, and it has been unfortunate or fortunate, whichever way you want to look at it, that it's fallen onto a Tuesday when we do our live streams. So next week, the live streams coming up for next week and the week after and the week after is the Posable Bunny. We do sell this as a kit. It's still available, so do come and get it if you want to make along in exactly a week's time. You can do that, get your bunny kit still. You can also then make along the following week your Lily of the Valley Fairy and Baby, and then the week after that we've got a bit of a stash buster making our butterflies that I will show you next time what that project actually is. But you need just colourful wool, a bit of water soluble paper, and if you have got the antennae to make the our flower stamen to make antennae, then you can, a little bit of wire will do as well. I'm sure you can work around that in other ways as well. So I will see you again on the 8th of March. In the meantime, if you happen to come to the Stitch Festival in London, I'm going there tomorrow to set up, and we will be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. I am running workshops there as well, so I think a lot of them are booked out, but I have a feeling that a couple of them have got a couple of spaces left, but I think most of them are booked out. But in any case, just come to our stand if nothing else. We've got a big stand there, so you can't miss us really. Also remember that you can join Alicia on a private Zoom session where she will be making the projects from the fairy box. She makes the project from the surprise box. In fact, the fairy box I think has turned into a stab and gap. You can find the dates and the dates and the times on our Every Wanna Maker Facebook group. Come and join us, but please be aware that we do want you to push our products. It's our group, okay? Don't push anybody else's products. And you can find out the dates there. It's open to anybody who wants to either make a long hassle box, wants to make something from the surprise box but needs a bit of inspiration, or wants to get help with our maker's box as on top of everything else that we are offering you. Then, or maybe you just want to hang out and have a chat and forget what's happening outside for a little while, then this is the place to go. So Alicia will announce those dates on Every Wanna Maker. And also, just to remind everybody, we do have monthly subscription box competitions, so you find the details for those on our Every Wanna Maker group as well. The competitions run into the following month, so that everybody who gets the boxes has got time to catch up. So the February competition is still open and running. If you need to submit your photo of the subscription box makes from February, you still have got time, and you will also be able to do that in March going into April for the March box. That's, I think, everything. Have I got anything else to say? Let's just have a look. So let me tell you. So we're away this week, going to the Stitch Festival in London. It's at the Islington Business Design Centre, and then we have a week where we don't go anywhere, and then we are going for the 17th, 18th, 19th and 20th of March to the Creative Craft Show at the NEC. It's one of the best shows. It's absolutely massive, and we've had a bit of a taste what shows could be like again. So please come. I am also running workshops there, and I think the workshops are selling out like crazy there as well. I'm doing the Posable Bunny at the workshop and the Bees and Hive there. And then we are in April, we're at Wonderwall in Wales with our stand, and we are doing stuff at our stand in terms of you can have a go at needle felting. We give you demos. In fact, Alicia has very kindly agreed to do these because, and I'm going to say this now because I'm really, really cross, because we are not running workshops at Wonderwall, and I have been asking for years. So if anybody's watching from Wonderwall, next year or else. Yes, for some reason we don't get to run workshops, and yeah, I'm pretty peeved. So there, I've said it now, it's out there. Anyway, right, I can be peeved and smile, and later on I'm going to swear, but not publicly. That's it. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Try and stay positive. We all, I don't know, it's all a worry what goes on in the world, and it always will be. There's always going to be something, so we just got to pull together, do the right thing, keep thinking positive, help where we can, and hope for the best, I suppose. But if all fails, just go stab that wool. That definitely makes you feel better as well. So take care, everybody. Sending you lots of love, and I will see you soon.